I arrived at my parents' house and found my dog's house was empty. We sold him for $50, my sister said. Now my dog will live there. My parents just nodded. I didn't cry. I tracked him down that night and took him back. Then I filed one report. 2 days later, my sister's custody hearing took a turn she never saw coming. I pulled into my parents' driveway that Thursday afternoon, already smiling because I knew Max would hear my car. He always did. My golden retriever had ears like a satellite dish. But when I walked around to the backyard, his doghouse was empty. Not just empty. Clean empty. Like someone had scrubbed away any trace he'd ever existed. Mom. I called out, my stomach already twisting. Where's Max? My sister Lauren came out onto the porch instead, and I swear to God she had this smirk on her face. You know the kind, the one that says she knows exactly what she did and she's proud of it. We sold him, she said. Just like that. Casual. Like she was telling me they'd gotten rid of an old couch. I stood there for a second because my brain literally couldn't process what she just said. You, what? $50. Some guy came by yesterday looking for a dog. Mom said we could sell him since you're never here anyway. And now Bella can have the doghouse. She gestured to this scraggly little terrier sitting at her feet. Her dog, the one she'd gotten 3 weeks ago. Do you think someone can actually feel their heart stop? As mine did. My parents came out then and I looked at them. Really looked at them, waiting for the punchline. My dad just nodded. My mom wouldn't even meet my eyes. He's my dog, I said, and my voice sounded strange even to me. I've had him for 6 years. I pay for everything. I board him here when I travel because you offered. You're never home, Sarah, my mom interrupted. Lauren's here all the time with Madison. It made sense. Made sense. They sold my dog, my best friend, the one who got me through my divorce, through losing my job, for $50 so my sister's new puppy could have his house. I didn't cry. I wanted to, but I didn't. You know why? Because crying in front of Lauren would have given her exactly what she wanted. Dad, I smiled. Who did you sell him to? Lauren's smirk faltered just a little. Why does it matter? Because I want to know who has my dog. My dad shifted uncomfortably. Some guy named Marcus something. He left a number. Said he lives over in Riverside. What do you think I did next? Do you think I just accepted it and walked away? My mom gave me the number and I saved it. Then I looked at each of them and left. I sat in my car for maybe 10 minutes just breathing. My hands were shaking. But I wasn't going to fall apart. Lauren had been pulling stuff like this my whole life. Taking my things, convincing our parents I was the problem, playing the victim. She had them wrapped around her finger, especially since she'd moved back home after her husband left her. But this was different. This was Max. I called the number. A man picked up. Hi, is this Marcus? You bought a golden retriever yesterday. Oh yeah. Beautiful dog. My kids are already in love with him. My throat closed up. I forced the words out anyway. That's actually my dog. My family sold him without my permission. I explained everything. To his credit, Marcus listened. That's messed up, he finally said. Look, I got kids who are already attached, but that's not right. You have proof he's yours. Everything. He's microchipped in my name. 6 years of vet bills, photos, everything. He sighed. Hey, I'm not gonna keep someone's stolen dog. But I need to talk to my kids first. Can you come by tomorrow morning? Around 9. Tomorrow felt like a lifetime away. So I said yes and hung up. Then I drove to the police station. The officer looked skeptical when I explained, but when I showed him the vet records, the microchip registration all in my name, his expression changed. Your dog's basically stolen property, he said. You want to file a theft report? Did I? My own family? Imagine what I was thinking right then. Lauren had stolen from me before. Money, jewelry, even a guy I was dating once. She always got away with it because mom and dad made excuses for her. But this time was different. Yes, I said. I want to file a report. As I gave my statement, something occurred to me. Lauren had a custody hearing coming up. Her ex-husband was fighting for more time with Madison, claiming Lauren was unstable. My parents had been coaching her for court. What would happen if the court found out she'd been involved in stealing someone's pet? I finished the report and drove to a hotel. I wasn't going back to my parents' house. Around midnight, lying in bed and staring at the ceiling, I made a decision. I wasn't waiting until 9 a.m. I had Marcus's address from the phone number lookup I'd done. I was getting Max tonight. Was that crazy? Maybe. But here's the thing. Lauren knew I loved that dog more than almost anything. She sold him because of that. To hurt me. Very soon she was going to learn that I wasn't the pushover little sister anymore. I grabbed my keys and headed for Riverside. I found Marcus's house just after midnight. The lights were off except for a porch light and I sat in my car for a minute trying to figure out what I was even doing. Breaking into someone's yard to take back my own dog? This was insane. But then I heard him. Max barking from the backyard. That specific bark he did when he heard my car. He knew I was there. That was it. I got out. I walked around to the side gate as quietly as I could. It wasn't locked, thank God, and the second I opened it, Max came bounding over. Imagine a 70-pound golden retriever slamming into you at full speed because he's so happy to see you. I almost fell over. He was licking my face, whining, tail going crazy. "Shoo, buddy, shoo," I whispered, but he wouldn't stop. I clipped on the spare leash I'd brought and we headed back to the gate. That's when the porch light flipped on. My heart literally stopped. The back door opened and Marcus stepped out in a t-shirt and sweatpants, squinting into the dark. "Sarah," he called out. I froze. "Do you think I should have run?" Part of me wanted to. "Yeah," I said quietly. "I'm sorry. I know I said 9 but I couldn't wait. He's my dog and I." Marcus held up his hand. He walked down the porch steps and I braced myself for him to be angry. But when he got closer he just looked at Max, then at me. "I heard him going crazy and figured it was you," he said. "Look, I get it. I told my kids tonight what happened. They cried but they understood. A dog belongs with his real owner." He paused. "I wasn't gonna keep him anyway. You didn't need to sneak over here at midnight like some kind of dog thief." Actually laughed. "I couldn't help it. I know. I'm sorry. My sister, she..." "Your sister sounds like a piece of work," he said flatly. "You filed that police report?" "Yeah." "Good. She shouldn't get away with this." He bent down and scratched Max behind the ears. "Take care of him. He's a good boy." I thanked him about 100 times and then Max and I got in the car. The second we were on the road I started crying. Not sad crying, relieved crying. He was back. He was actually back. But here's the thing, I knew what was coming next. Lauren was going to lose her mind when she found out. And my parents. They were going to tell me I overreacted, that I was being dramatic, that I should have just let it go. Well, guess what? I wasn't letting it go. Not this time. I drove to my apartment. I'd moved out years ago, which is why Max stayed at my parents' when I traveled for work. Big mistake, clearly. I got him inside, fed him, and he curled up on the couch like he'd never left. Like the last 2 days hadn't even happened. I barely slept that night. I kept thinking about what Lauren would do when she realized Max was gone. Would she call the cops? Would she show up at my apartment? Part of me hoped she would. I had receipts for everything. Proof that Max was mine, proof that she'd stolen him. The next morning my phone started ringing at 7 a.m. My mom. I didn't answer. She called 3 more times. Then my dad called. Then Lauren. Finally I picked up when my mom called for the 5th time. "Sarah, what did you do?" she said immediately. "No hello, no nothing. I got my dog back," I said calmly. "The dog you sold without my permission. You can't just break into someone's property." "I didn't break in. Marcus gave him back to me. Because Max is legally mine and you had no right to sell him." There was silence on the other end. Then I heard Lauren's voice in the background, screaming something I couldn't make out. "Your sister is very upset," my mom said. "Good," I said. "She should be. She stole my dog." "She didn't steal. We made a family decision." "No, Mom. You made a decision about my property. And I filed a police report. So if Lauren wants to press this, she can explain to the cops why she sold someone else's dog." Another silence. Longer this time. "You filed a police report? Against your own family? Do you think I felt guilty right then?" "Bez, I didn't. Not even a little bit." "Yeah. I did. And if you all had just asked me, or if you'd actually cared about what I wanted, none of this would have happened. But you didn't. You just did whatever Lauren wanted, like always." My mom started to say something but I hung up. My hands were shaking but I felt good. For the first time in years I'd actually stood up to them. Max looked up at me from the couch, tail wagging. "We're not going back there, buddy," I told him. "Not for a while." What happened next, though, that's when things got really interesting. Because 2 days later I got a call from a number I didn't recognize. When I answered, a woman's voice said, "Is this Sarah Brennan?" "Yes. This is Jennifer Keating. I'm a social worker with Family Services. I'm calling regarding your niece, Madison, and your sister Lauren's custody case." My stomach dropped. "Okay. We received some information that's come to light and I need to ask you a few questions. Do you have a few minutes?" I sat down slowly. "Yeah. I have time." And that's when I realized, the police report I'd filed? Someone had flagged it. And now it was part of Lauren's custody evaluation. Very soon, my sister was going to find out that actions have consequences. And honestly, I couldn't wait to see what happened at that hearing. Jennifer Keating asked me a bunch of questions about the dog situation, about my relationship with Lauren, about what kind of environment Madison was living in at my parents' house. I answered honestly, maybe too honestly. I told her about Lauren's pattern of taking things that weren't hers, about how my parents enabled her, about how she'd been coaching Madison to say certain things about her dad. Do you think I felt bad telling her all this? I did. A little. Madison was just a kid caught in the middle. But I also knew that if Lauren was really being the kind of parent she needed to be, none of this would matter. After I hung up, I felt weird. Like I'd just set something in motion that I couldn't take back. The custody hearing was on Friday. I wasn't planning to go. I wasn't even invited. But Thursday night, I got a text from someone I hadn't heard from in almost a year. My cousin Rachel. Heard about the Max situation. Your sister is spiraling. Can we talk? Rachel and I used to be close before she moved to Portland. She was one of the few family members who ever called Lauren out on her behavior. I called her right away. Oh my God, Sarah, she said when she picked up. I've been hearing things. Your mom called my mom completely hysterical, saying you're trying to destroy Lauren's life. I laughed. I couldn't help it. I got my dog back. That's literally all I did. Well, apparently there's more to it now. Did you know Lauren's lawyer dropped her? I sat up straight. What? Yeah. 2 days ago. Something about her lying about the living situation and him finding out through the social worker's report. And get this, her ex Brandon? He's not fighting for partial custody anymore. He's going for full custody now. My stomach twisted. Full custody? Yep. And honestly, Sarah, I don't think he's wrong. I've been talking to him, don't tell anyone, but he's been telling me stuff about how Lauren's been acting. The spending, the lying, how she leaves Madison with your parents all the time while she goes out. It's bad. I didn't know what to say. Part of me felt vindicated. Lauren was finally facing consequences. But another part felt awful. Madison didn't deserve this. There's something else, Rachel said. Your mom's been telling everyone you're doing this out of spite. That you've always been jealous of Lauren. Of course she was. Look, Rachel continued, I know you didn't set out to blow up Lauren's custody case. But between you and me, maybe this is what needs to happen. Maybe Madison's better off with her dad. We talked for another hour. Rachel told me she was actually flying in for the hearing. Brandon had asked her to be a character witness. She'd seen how Lauren treated Madison, how she used her as a prop for social media but barely engaged with her in real life. Will you come? Rachel asked. To the hearing? I don't think I should. Brandon's lawyer wants you there. As a witness. They want to ask you about the dog incident and about Lauren's behavior patterns. My hands went cold. Imagine being asked to testify against your own sister in a custody hearing. That's a whole different level than filing a police report. I don't know, Rachel. Sleep on it. The hearing's at 10 a.m. at the county courthouse. I'll text you the details. I hung up and looked at Max, who was sleeping peacefully on his dog bed, the one I'd bought and set up in my apartment the day I got him back. That night I barely slept. I kept thinking about Madison. She was 4 years old. She didn't understand any of this. And yeah, Lauren was a mess, but she was still her mom. But then I thought about something else. Something I hadn't wanted to admit to myself. A few months ago I'd stopped by my parents' house unannounced. Lauren was supposed to be watching Madison, but when I got there, Madison was alone in the living room watching TV. Lauren was upstairs, door locked, on the phone with someone. Madison told me she'd been alone for a long time and was hungry. I'd made her lunch and didn't say anything to Lauren about it when she finally came downstairs an hour later. I should have. I knew I should have. But I didn't want to cause drama. What if I'd spoken up then? What if I'd told someone? The next morning I woke up at 7 a.m. and stared at the ceiling for 20 minutes. Then I got dressed, got in my car and drove to the courthouse. When I walked into the hallway outside the courtroom I saw Brandon first. He looked exhausted but relieved when he saw me. Sarah. Thank you for coming. I don't know if I'm doing the right thing, I said honestly. You are, he said quietly. Madison needs stability. She needs someone who puts her first. Then I saw Rachel and she gave me a hug. And that's when my mom appeared at the end of the hallway with Lauren. The look on Lauren's face when she saw me, I'll never forget it. Pure rage mixed with betrayal. She started walking toward me but her lawyer grabbed her arm. My mom though? He came right up to me. How could you, she hissed. How could you do this to your own sister? Do you think I wanted to be there? Do you think I enjoyed this? I'm doing this for Madison, I said. Someone needs to. You're vindictive and selfish and you're doing this because of a dog. No, Mom. I'm doing this because Lauren's not capable of taking care of a child when she can't even respect basic boundaries. She stole my dog to hurt me. What do you think she's capable of when she's angry at a 4-year-old? My mom's face went white. She opened her mouth to say something, but then the courtroom doors opened. All parties for Novak versus Novak, the bailiff called out. This was it. Very soon, everything was going to change for Madison. For Lauren. For all of us. And honestly, I had no idea if I was doing the right thing or making the biggest mistake of my life. But what happened in that courtroom, what Lauren said when they asked her about Max, you won't believe it. I sat in the back of the courtroom with Rachel while Brandon's lawyer laid out his case. He talked about Lauren's instability, her financial problems, the fact that she'd moved back in with our parents. He mentioned the police report about Max as an example of her poor judgment. Lauren's new lawyer tried to downplay it. Your Honor, this was a misunderstanding between family members about a pet. The dog was microchipped and registered to Ms. Brennan, the judge interrupted. And Ms. Novak sold the animal without the owner's consent for $50. That's theft. I watched Lauren's face turn red. Then they called the social worker to the stand. She talked about her evaluation, about concerns with Lauren's living situation and emotional regulation. She mentioned that Lauren had become verbally aggressive when asked about the dog incident. She showed a pattern of deflection and an inability to take responsibility, Jennifer said, which raises concerns about modeling appropriate behavior for her daughter. Then Brandon's lawyer stood up. Your Honor, I'd like to call Sarah Brennan to the stand. My heart stopped. Rachel squeezed my hand as I walked up. I could feel Lauren's eyes burning into me. After I was sworn in, Brandon's lawyer asked me to describe what happened with Max. I told the whole story, how I found him gone, how Lauren smirked when she told me, how my parents just nodded like it was normal. Why do you think your sister sold your dog? He asked. To hurt me, I said quietly. She knew how much Max meant to me. Do you think I felt powerful saying that? I didn't. I felt sick. There's something else, I said, and I hadn't planned to say this. A few months ago I stopped by my parents' house. Lauren was supposed to be watching Madison, but Madison was alone in the living room. She told me she was hungry and had been alone for a long time. Lauren was upstairs with her door locked. The courtroom went dead silent. How long was the child unsupervised? The judge asked. I don't know exactly, but long enough that she was scared and hungry. I glanced at Lauren. She was whispering furiously to her lawyer, shaking her head. My mom looked like she was about to cry. Lauren's lawyer cross-examined me, trying to make it seem like I was being vindictive. But when he suggested I could have just retrieved my dog and moved on, I looked right at him. What seems vindictive is selling someone's dog out of jealousy. What seems vindictive is leaving a 4-year-old alone. I'm not here to punish Lauren. I'm here because Madison deserves better. He had no response to that. Then they called Lauren to the stand. She answered carefully at first, talking about how much she loved Madison, how she was working on getting back on her feet. She sounded coached. Then Brandon's lawyer asked about Max. Ms. Novak, can you explain why you sold your sister's dog? Lauren's jaw tightened. It wasn't like Sarah made it sound. The dog was at my parents' house. Sarah barely visited. We thought she didn't want him anymore. Did you ask her? Silence. Ms. Novak, did you ask your sister if you could sell her dog? No, but... And when she confronted you about it, what did you say? Lauren looked at her lawyer, then at the judge. And then she said something I did not expect. I told her we sold him because I was angry. Because she always gets everything. The good job, the nice apartment, everyone's respect. And I'm stuck living with our parents with a daughter and an ex-husband who wants to take her away. So yeah, I sold her stupid dog. Are you happy now? The courtroom went completely silent. Even her lawyer looked shocked. The judge leaned forward. Ms. Novak, are you saying you sold the dog specifically to hurt your sister? Lauren realized what she just said. Her face went pale. No, I didn't mean. But it was too late. The judge made his ruling 20 minutes later. Temporary full custody to Brandon, with Lauren getting supervised visitation twice a week pending a psychological evaluation and parenting course. Lauren screamed. Literally screamed in the courtroom. My mom had to help her outside while she sobbed. I sat there numb. Rachel rubbed my back. You did the right thing, she kept saying. But I couldn't stop thinking. What happens now? What happens to my family? Very soon I was going to find out. Because 3 days later something happened that I never saw coming. Something that made me question everything I thought I knew about my sister. 3 days after the hearing, I was at my apartment with Max when someone knocked on my door. I looked through the peephole and froze. It was Lauren. She was alone. She looked awful, like she hadn't slept in days. Her eyes were red and puffy. Do you think I wanted to open that door? But something in her expression made me unlock it. What do you want? I asked. Can we talk? Please. Her voice cracked. Just 5 minutes. I hesitated, then stepped aside. She came in and immediately saw Max on the couch. He didn't run to her, he just watched her carefully. Lauren stood in my living room, arms wrapped around herself. "I'm sorry," she said quietly. "I waited. I wasn't going to make this easy for her. I'm sorry for selling Max. I'm sorry for everything. You were right, I did it to hurt you. I was jealous and angry." She looked at me, tears streaming down her face. "I've been a terrible sister. A terrible person." I still didn't say anything. "I'm in therapy now," she continued. "Court-ordered, but I actually went before the mandate. After the hearing, I realized I've been blaming everyone else for my problems. Brandon, Mom and Dad, you. Everyone except myself." She wiped her eyes. "I saw Madison yesterday. Supervised visitation. She asked me why she couldn't come home. Do you know how that feels?" I thought about Madison, sweet, innocent Madison who didn't ask for any of this. "That's on you, Lauren," I said. "You left her alone. You put your anger ahead of her safety." "I know." She nodded. "And I'm going to do everything to get her back. The parenting classes, the therapy, whatever it takes. But I needed to apologize to you first." We stood there in silence. Max walked over to me, sitting at my feet. "I don't forgive you," I said finally. "Not yet. Maybe not ever. What you did was cruel." "I know. But I'm glad you're getting help. For Madison's sake." Lauren nodded and moved toward the door. "Mom and Dad are furious with you. They think you destroyed our family." "I didn't destroy anything. I just stopped pretending everything was okay when it wasn't." "Yeah." She gave me a sad smile. "Maybe that's what this family needed." 2 months later, I got a call from my dad. "Your mother wants to see you," he said. "We're having dinner on Sunday. Just family. We'd like you to come." "Is Lauren going to be there?" "Yes. And Rachel's flying in. And Brandon's bringing Madison." Do you think I trusted that? Not really. But I said I'd come. That Sunday, I walked into my parents' house for the first time since the hearing. Max was with me, I wasn't leaving him anywhere anymore. Madison ran up immediately. "Aunt Sarah. Is that Max? Can I pet him?" "Of course, sweetie." We all sat down for dinner. It was awkward at first. Then my dad cleared his throat. "I owe you an apology, Sarah," he said. "Your mother and I both do. We enabled Lauren's behavior for years. We made excuses for her and invalidated your feelings." My mom nodded, looking uncomfortable but sincere. "We thought we were helping Lauren. But we were making it worse." Lauren spoke up. "I've been doing the work. Therapy twice a week, parenting classes, anger management. I'm moving into my own place next month. Brandon and I have been co-parenting better." Brandon nodded. "She stepped up. It's not perfect, but she's trying." "I'm proud of you, Sarah," my dad said. "You stood up for what was right even when it was hard." "I just wanted the truth to matter for once," I said. We talked for hours that night. Really talked. About resentment, about favoritism, about how our family had never properly dealt with anything. It wasn't easy. There were tears and uncomfortable silences. But we pushed through. At the end of the night, Lauren walked me to my car. "Thank you," she said, "for coming tonight. For giving me a chance." "I'm doing this for Madison," I said. "Not for you." "Not yet." "I know. But I'm going to earn it back. Through trust. However long it takes." I looked at her and for the first time in years I saw my sister. Not the person who'd hurt me but the person she could be. "We'll see," I said. 6 months later, Lauren got joint custody back. She'd completed everything the court required and more. She had her own place, a job, and she was genuinely showing up for Madison. My relationship with my parents improved too. They started actually listening instead of dismissing my feelings. It wasn't perfect, families never are, but it was better. Max. He's still with me, sleeping on his bed every night, completely oblivious to all the chaos he'd caused. Was it worth it? The court hearing, the family drama, all of it? Yeah, it was. Because Madison has the mom she deserves now. Because my family finally faced the truth. Because I learned to stand up for myself. And because Max is home where he belongs. Sometimes the hardest thing you can do is tell the truth. But sometimes it's the only thing that can save your family from itself. If you found this story meaningful, I'd really appreciate it if you could subscribe to the channel and like this video. Your support means everything and helps me keep sharing these stories. I'd love to hear what you think about everything that happened. Do you think I did the right thing? Would you have handled it differently? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And if you're not sure what to say or can't find the right words, our team would be incredibly happy to see even a simple thank you in the comments. It truly makes our day. Thanks for listening.